Well then, hello everybody and welcome to TTTV F1. My name is Kieran McGinley, and as you can probably hear, my voice isn't in the best of condition. However, we will battle on for the Hungarian Grand Prix. It's around about that time where it's cold season, and it's the worst time when you're a commentator, because well, when I woke up this morning I didn't have a voice, so to be here right now with half a voice is better than nothing, basically. You're watching season number 11, round 12, which I've mistakenly put there. That's it. Oh, by the way, if you're watching this back, it doesn't say round 12 anymore. That's it. It just doesn't say it anymore. Yeah, welcome back to TTL F1, which brings us to the Hungarian Grand Prix, as Spike called it in last time's Commentators' Corner, Monaco without the barriers. It is a great racetrack, and it's provided some great racing over the years, and I'm really looking forward to the Hungarian Grand Prix. It's had its fair share of controversy since it was first on the calendar in 1986. Who could forget that infamous 2007 moment where Fernando Alonso just stayed in the pit lane? Oh boy. I remember because I was a Lewis Hamilton fan at the time, and yeah, it was huge. It was absolutely huge, the fact that happened. The British press went mental over that. I remember being so angry, but then again, you know, I was very young at the time. How old must I have been? Must have been about 10 years old when that happened. So that was yeah. There you go. I've just added my age to the stream. Excellent. Anyway, enough about me. Enough about my experiences with whatnot. You're here to watch the Hungarian Grand Prix. If you missed the last race, by the way, the German Grand Prix, what a fantastic race it was. Please go back and watch the stream last time out. It was absolutely incredible to watch, and it was, yeah, one driver pretty much deserved driver of the day there. So go back, watch that fantastic race. Right, so hopefully now people have gone to see that stream. So I can now say that Lambo, from 18th on the grid, came to win the German Grand Prix, fully deserving that driver of the day. Absolutely commanding performance. And in terms of the drivers' table right now, it looks a little something like this. Lambo leads the way on 160 points, Pose in second on 156, Spike in third on 153, Squeezy not far away in fourth on 133, Lighty is fifth on 70, Siege in sixth on 53, Technique is seventh on 52, Maze is in eighth on 45, Ollie is in ninth on 43, Blizzard is in 10th on 40 points as a reserve. And then we have 11th Steph with 39 points, C3 in 12th on 31, Alan K on 13th on 22 points, Sean in 14th on 18 points, Damien in 15th on 17, Onyx in 16th with 16 points, Weird Nation, LMFC and Tractor all on 10 points in 17th place, Blaster in 20th on 6 points, Clifford in the Force India 21st with 4 points, and Jay in 22nd with a single point for Renault. Now, I will have to say apologies for my voice in advance. Like I said, I didn't have a voice this morning, so it's a small miracle that I have one right now. So it's absolutely brilliant. But last time I saw the return of Terrible News. If you haven't seen it on Twitter already, go follow TTL F1 on Twitter. You can see that latest edition, where it talks about the four-way fight, one of the tightest grids in TTL history, providing that four-way battle between Lambo, Post, Spike and Squeezy. But who will be champion at the end of Season 11? Now, we've come to the halfway point in the season, and it's really crunch time now for those who want to actually push for the championship, for those who actually want to get that championship and get their hands on it. This is their time now to really put in the performances that they need to get. And added to that, it's a crowded mid-pack of cars. You know, you've got the likes of Z3, Steph, we were talking to last week, as they were talking about being sort of the best of the rest in that battle with Lighty, Siege, Technique, Ollie as well. They're all there or thereabouts. Lighty is a head start of 70 points compared to Siege on 53, Technique 52, Maze 45, Ollie 43. Steph 39, Z3 31, and Sean and Damien and Onyx really on the bubble. I think Onyx, though, I'm expecting a few more points from him this season, as he looks to make a charge through the field. And well, it has provided some great racing in the past, and those drives from the back aren't as easy as they're made out to be. So we'll have to see how this Hungarian Grand Prix goes down. I have started the stream a little earlier than normal, but that's fine. I was meant to do that anyway. The sort of reason being, basically, was so that I could warm up my voice, so that's all good, isn't it? But yeah, it's been good so far. Who knows when we get past qualifying though what's going to happen, but we'll wait and see. So now I have to do the part of copying a link and pasting it onto Twitter, do a little bit of advertising, and hopefully we'll get this underway very, very shortly. And a big welcome to Jay there, who says hello in the chat, and HD quality as always, Mace. A new location comes, a new quality of streaming. I'm excited. I really am. I stream in HD. This is not normal for me. Really not normal. So here comes the awkward part where I have to sort of awkward silence. I can't. It seems like I can't talk and speak, but yeah, I find it difficult. Talk amongst yourselves. just for a minute whilst I type this in. I always sort of forget how to spell Hungarian. I'm not like one of the best people for spelling, which is weird considering like I'm supposed to be. There are just certain words I'd never get right, but there we go. Okay, there we are. Tweet is sent out at exactly 8 o'clock. All good. So, did anybody... I know it was a long time ago, but that American Grand Prix was something else, wasn't it, in real life? 19 drivers here in the stream tonight. Absolutely fantastic to see. And hello to all those good viewers. Hello to any new viewers here today. Welcome to TTL F1. So when we look at the sort of race winners list this season, like I said before, Spike has 4 wins this season. He leads the way in that one. Remember, he went 3 wins on the trot at Bahrain, China and Azerbaijan. Lambo ties with sorry, not ties with him, is with, or there or thereabouts, on 3 wins. His win in Germany last time out puts him on 3. Poe has 2 wins this season. His wins came at Monaco and Austria, which puts him well up the table. And Squeezy has a win this season as well. He won at Canada, so that's why the top 4 has been so close. In fact, the only winner that hasn't come from the top 4 drivers this season has been Blizzard, when he raced as a reserve at the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. And I believe he joins us tonight in what is a soaking wet qualifying. Now this opens up a whole kettle of fish. You see, none of us, well, the drivers know what the weather's going to be like. I don't know. It's a complete guessing game for me. Hello, Onyx. Make sure you choose the right setup this time before you go out. Had that problem last time out. We had to, I believe he chose the France setup instead of the German setup. But there you go. Hopefully he picks the right one this time. And there you can see Blizzard is in the garage, as well as CSR Hamilton joining as a reserve in this round. So it's good to see those two joining us today. Expect them to be right at the front, battling away for a race win. At the moment, though, no one making a move yet. Squeezy, though, well, I say that. Squeezy, though, is the first out onto track, as he always is, onto a set of wet tyres. It is soaking wet on this track today, and we'll be able to see now what Squeezy will end up doing. As you can see, a couple of drivers as you can see, on the intermediate tyres, so it looks like they're going to try and play the waiting game. Yeah, so you can see there, Z3 Maze and Lambo all on the intermediate tyres, so maybe the rain is supposed to ease up. As Squeezy just sort of gingerly tiptoes his way around the track. This place in the dry is always a great place to watch. In the wet though, well, a bit more excitement. Those barriers feel a lot closer in the wet, that's for sure. So let's talk about the Hungaroring, as this is Squeezy going through into sector 2 now, coming down the hill towards turn 12 and then through towards turn 13. We can ride on board with him just for a brief moment. As you can see there, very slippery conditions as we now make our way around turn 14. And Squeezy taking a wider line there to try and cut back in and get that apex he needs. And now charging all the way down this long straight. DRS would be open if it wasn't pouring down. And it's getting that important braking zone absolutely spot on as Squeezy chucks the car into turn 1 and hope it sticks on the exit. Traction is really important on the exit of turn 1 then, as we head now down the hill towards turn 2. Very easy to lock a tyre in the dry, let alone the wet. And well, I use that phrase the wrong way round. However, we fly through turn 3 now onto the curb, which is great in the dry. In the wet, you have to be a bit more careful as we go up the hill now through turn 4. Getting onto that curb a little bit there. And now as we head up the hill towards turn 5 through this right-hander, be careful of that white curb on the inside there of the corner. If you get that, you'll basically spin the car around. Into turns 6 and 7 we go through that chicane. And then we're coming through turns 8, 9 as we fly through with Squeezy. And then we go through the slight kink of turn 10, chuck the car in and hope it sticks as we then fly through turn 11 here. And then we head downhill towards the right-angled right-hander of turn 12. And then getting that exit right is crucial as we head now towards turn 13. This long sweeping left-hander before the long sweeping right-hander of turn 14. So then Squeezy makes his way around the track, and as you can see, he hasn't used a lot of ERS battery, as such happens in the wet. As he heads towards the line, it's a 131.4 from Squeezy, sets down the marker for the session. Blizzard meanwhile being a reserve in this race, now heading towards turn 12 as Z3 is retired from the session. Z3 retires from the session, so an odd one there. I don't know if he crashed out or just didn't want to take part in qualifying. Whatever the case though, he is out of qualifying. Here comes Blizzard then towards the line. This is his out lap, or flying lap I should say, and it's a 130.9 from Blizzard. The may I remind you, the reigning TTL F1 champion from season 10. And we have Technique there, getting P3 with a 132.7. Steph there in the Mercedes, a 133.1, which puts him in P4. We've got Plaster there making their way around, and Lambo there, 130.5 from Lambo. And that was set on that was intermediate tyres as well from Lambo. That's incredible. Looks like me, it's pouring out there. However, Lambo had other ideas. He's blasted that lap on intermediates. Fantastic. Got Jay here. Or loses that back end. Had a lap invalidated. That's why he's had one lap on those tyres. Here comes Plaster then towards the line. And he sits a 137.6. More time to be found from Plaster then. Poe's retired from the session. Poe is out. So then, more spiciness as Poe retires from the session. Here is Sean there, as he makes his way around turn 12, now coming towards turn 13. And you can see a lovely camera angle there of both the Williams. Both the Williams, neck, tooth and nail, but Sean decides to pit in. As we see right aboard with Steph there as he lost it momentarily. Very scary moment for him there. And he'll be making his way back to the pits. Hamilton here, 133.8. Not representative of his best lap time, that's for sure. However, still 11 minutes of this session to go. He finds himself in P6 right now. Ollie has just started a flying lap. And be interested to see where he can put himself on the grid as he gets out of turn 1. A little bit out of shape there. Can he get a good time on the board, I wonder? As he now flies through turn 3 there, up the hill towards turn 4. Can he get himself that good position that he needs then? Heading around turn 5, up the hill towards 6 and 7. As there's yellow flags in sector 2, that just looks like a little bit of cars getting out of the way, traffic. So Ollie then trying to tiptoe his way around as we now head through turns 8 and 9 through the left-hander of turn 10, and then hopefully to chuck the car in to turn 11, and now going down the hill towards turn 12. You can see that Jay has put himself up to P3 with a 131.004. That must be frustrating that it's not a 130. However, he currently lies in 3rd place. Ollie meanwhile making his way around turn 13, up the hill now towards turn 14, flying through now. Still at a good 100 kilometers an hour around that right-hander. Here comes Ollie then as he heads towards the line. And it's a 132.7. Now, here's the interesting thing. Do some of the drivers think it's going to be dry for the race? And that's why they're going to run dry setups. We might be seeing some people here running a wet setup and hoping that it rains during the race. Some running a dry, hoping it will stay dry for the race. As you can see though, some drivers opting to go on a set of intermediate tyres. Now the rain has let up during this session. As Lighty comes around the final corner, he's going to start his flying lap. Here comes Spike emerging from the pits, and he's on a set of intermediate tyres as well. So very interesting then from Spike, as he's deciding to go straight on for a little bit, but never mind. As you can see, Sean and Maze here, both on intermediate tyres. As Maze here coming through sector 3. He's now going to head down the hill towards turn 13. He'll chuck the car in. Will it stick? Steps out a little bit in the middle of the corner. Does he stay out? Yes, he does. Maze then trying to go round the final corner. Can he keep that car in check as he heads towards the line? What's the lap time going to be? He crosses the line and it's a 131.3. Puts him up into P4. And Blizzard there up into P2 with a 130.9 at the moment. He's on a lap right now, I do believe. Let's have a look then. Here he comes towards the line. What can he do? Or is this an out lap and I look stupid? Yep, it was an out lap and I look stupid. Not really a shock anymore, is it? Squeezy's also out there on a set of intermediate tyres, as he is on a flying lap. Rounding turn 13, up the hill again towards turn 14. And what can 4th place man in the championship do? Taking a wider entry to get a better exit, and he heads towards the line. It's a 131.2. He does improve, but it doesn't count. Meanwhile, Light E has lit up the timing screen. He's gone top in these ever-changing conditions. And as you can see, all of the field, or nearly all of the field, is now on a set of intermediate tyres. So this looks like the tyre to be on now, as Light E now tops the table. Clifford there, 131.1, puts him up into P5. Blizzard heading through now. Now Sean has gone top, 130.1. This track is getting quicker and quicker. Blizzard then heading down the hill now towards turn 12. He locks up a little bit. Maybe struggling in these conditions. Maybe running with a bit less bias than he really wants to. Maybe running with a dry bias. Meanwhile, Maze has gone even quicker. 130.4 as he backs off now. Doesn't have the fuel for a 3rd lap. Here comes Blizzard around the final corner. Now, how much time can he take out of his 130.9 as he heads towards the line? A 128.4. He takes 2.5 seconds out of his previous time to go top of the table. First person to get out of the 130s. Blizzard tops the tables for now then. But that's only half the story. Squeezy here is 1.8 seconds up through Sector 2. Now can he get a big advantage then as he comes around the final corner? We've got a Jay moving back up, or sorry, Clifford, or Plaster there in P9 as well. Here comes Squeezy, and he goes 2.7 quicker, but it's a 128.6, and it puts him up into P2. Hamilton out there, he started a flying lap. We've got Technique heading down the hill towards turn 12. Steph also on a flying lap, he's trying to fly through, as is Damien. George Roberts, 134.9 at the moment. Hoping to go better that lap time, especially in these ever-changing editions. Here comes Onyx then, on an out lap. And he'll be hoping now. Oh, he's lost the back end, very slightly there. A little bit of a scare for him. Technique, by the way, 129.3, puts him up into P3. Clifford now flying through turn 3, that is, as he loses that back end very slightly. That's the Renault, I believe, Jay, flying through your picture before then. And you can see here how much of a difference this has made. Spike is now in 6th place. He's on a 129.8. But expect those lap times to just get faster and faster as the track gets drier and drier. Well, as dry as it could get. Damien there, 131.4, puts him up into P12. Here comes Plaster then, coming around the final corner. That looks like Clifford is right behind him in that Force India. Here comes Plaster then, coming towards the line. Clifford could use a bit of slipstream here, and Plaster goes 6/10 faster. He's up now into P12, jumps Damien by around 3/10 there. Lighty now moves himself up back into P3 as he looks to try and get himself up in that order. He lies 5th place in the championship and is a good driver. He hasn't shown his most consistent form this season, but when he's on top, he is absolutely unstoppable. Clifford there, P4, 129.0. Just have a look at our championship battlers. We've got Spike and Squeezy there. Lambo finds himself in 10th place. Hasn't set a lap on those intermediates yet. Technique, meanwhile, goes into P2, 128.5. And is this a case of you just need to warm those intermediate tyres up with a couple of laps? Because that looks like the case. Technique has done 2 laps on the tyres, finds himself 128.5. Onyx up to P8. He is on a 129.6. Hamilton down the field with a 131.9. However, he is yet to set a quick lap time on these intermediate tyres. Will this be the lap? Loses that back end very slightly. Just clipping that grass on the left-hand side. And here comes Hamilton then, coming around the final corner. Can he improve? Yes, he can. 128.6. He goes P3 now. We have 3 minutes and 40 seconds of the session left. And of course, with a wet qualifying, if it's a dry start in the race, then every single driver can pick whatever tyre they like. A wet qualifying can spice up the race, and expect some of the drivers, especially in the midfield, to choose the hardest possible tyre and try and get to the end or as far into the race as possible. So Lambo's still in the pits. Jay here set a 130.7, but it didn't count. The lap time was invalidated. Ollie is coming around the penultimate corner. He is on a he's on 16th at the moment as he rounds the final corner now. And careful to avoid that curb as he makes his way down the straight. What can he do? It's a 129.0. Puts himself into 7th place. He's been showing some good form in F2 as George Roberts has retired from the session. He's at a 133.8 and at the moment will find himself qualifying in P17. Ollie here is well, approaching halfway through the season. Leads the championship with Z3 in 2nd and Mays in 3rd. So they're all racing in this today as Hamilton now tops the leaderboard, 128.2. So 2 minutes left in the session. He leads the way. And Technique has retired from the session. He believes that's all he can do. And that is Technique's day done But with a track that could be getting quicker and quicker, is that the right decision? As now Jay goes quickest, 1:27.9 from the Renault driver. Fantastic lap time. And this is what the Technique could regret retiring from this session here. As Jay tops the leaderboard with a 1:27.9. Great lap from Jay there. Can anybody match that? Steph, meanwhile, is 4 seconds down. And I wonder if he's just... Yes, he is. He's trying to save some fuel, save some ERS. And he wants to go for one last charge. Onyx there, 1:29.0. He puts himself up to P9 and retires from the session. Maybe he didn't have enough fuel for another run. And retires from the session. Sean is out there, as is Maze. We've got Lambo there trying to get a bit of space out on track as he looks to try and grab pole position. He's currently in 14th place at the moment. Plaster is in 15th. And he's on an outlap. Damien here now 2.6 faster. Still in P16 though. And he knows he can find a bit more time. That's why he's going to continue to push as the sun peeks through the clouds. Spike there, P5. The 1:28.6. Squeezy now coming towards the line. What can he do? It's a 1:20. Oh, sorry, these are outlaps. That's why. That's why they were exactly the same times. I'm good at this. Anyway, Sean goes up to P4, 1:28.4. As Jay goes quicker once again, a 1:27.5 from Jay. Now, could he be the one to take pole position? Can anybody find that time? Hamilton leaving it as late as possible. He's only got 20 seconds to get to the line here. And what will he do? No, he'll come into the pits. Hamilton can't have another go. So Blizzard then is a chance for him. Sean is out there as well, but he's backed out of it. It looks like, has he? I think he has. Spike's on a charge as well. Squeezy going through 6 and 7 has a chance. Steph flying through. Sean has retired, so at the moment he's in P4. Steph has backed out. Clifford on a charge. Let's see Squeezy here. Let's see what he's doing now. Coming down the hill towards turn 12. Where is Lambo out on track? He is going through turn 5 right now. So let's jump on board with Spike here as he's rounding the final corner. Now, can he get better than P6? As he makes his way around the final corner towards the start-finish line. What can Spike do? It's P5, 1:28.5. It's not quite quick enough. Squeezy, meanwhile, heading towards the line. What can he do? It's P2. Misses out by 0.2 of a second. How about Lambo then? Making his way around. We've got Maze coming through turn 12 as well. So let's keep an eye on him as Lighty goes P3. Brilliant lap from the German as Blizzard goes quickest. 1:27.2. And let's see what Lambo can do then as he rounds the final corner. Where can he put himself? He puts himself top. 1:27.0. Lambo continues his absolutely amazing form and grabs pole position in a fantastic Hungarian qualifying session. Well, the drivers managed to find 6 seconds in that session, and here's how qualifying ended. Lambo with pole position, Blizzard in second, Jay in third, Squeezy fourth, Lighty fifth, Hamilton sixth, Sean in seventh, Spike in eighth, Technique ninth, Steph in 10th, Clifford 11th, Onyx 12th, Ollie 13th, Maze 14th, Damien 15th, Plaster 16th, George Roberts 17th, Z3 18th, and Poe in P19. Now, can Poe get one better than Lambo and get the win from P19? Well, I wouldn't put it past him, but he's got a really tough job ahead of him in the race. We'll have to see how the weather takes a shape in the race, which is coming very, very shortly. And can Lambo make it 2 wins on the bounce? And it looks dry. It definitely looks dry, but those clouds look menacing. Well, could we see some rain here at the Hungarian Grand Prix? Hello Z3, nice to see you here. Blizzard as well, hello to you both. And Z3 saying Blizzard would take pole position. Well, he was almost right. Front row start for Blizzard, returning as a reserve driver, the Season 10 reigning champion. of course, and TTL's most successful driver of all time. And he passed Tractor Man last season when he won that drivers and I believe the constructors as well. So yeah, the most decorated driver in TTL history. So it's no surprise to see him up there in P2, but he's got a big battle on his hands. Will we be seeing this classic championship fight? We saw it all the way through Season 10, those two battling time after time. Are we going to roll back the clock and see that happen once again? For now, though, it's the formation lap and a chance to see what strategies are going on. And as I thought, no one is going for that softest tyre. No one's going for that. I believe I think it's ultra soft, or it could be super soft here. Anyway, Lambo, Blizzard and Jay starting on medium tyres. Squeezy and Lighty, they're going for the soft tyres. Hamilton, Sean, Spike, they're all going for a medium tyre. Steph, Clifford, Onyx, Ollie, Maze, Damien, Plaster and George Roberts, they're all on soft tyres, whilst C3 and Poe are on the medium tyres. So let's have your opinions in the comments then. Let's have your race winner for the day. And a couple of drivers to watch then. Well, Poe, really unlucky last time out. Got that front left puncture, of course, with 2 laps to go in Germany. Didn't quite make the tyres last. He's gone for the hardest set this time to counteract that ever happening again. Watch out for Spike from 8th position. As my voice slightly broke there. He came from 10th place last time out to grab 2nd place. So watch out for him in this one. Hamilton a bit quiet in qualifying. However, he's got some fantastic pace on him. Watch out for him into turn 1 as he looks to mean business. Lighty looks in fantastic form for this Hungarian Grand Prix. Watch out for him going into turn 1. The German in a Ferrari can always produce a result when needed. Squeezy here, 4th in the championship, has a point to prove. And he will be looking to try and add some more points and close that gap to the top of the table. Jay has been really quick in qualifying. Can he convert that to race pace? And can he get himself that coveted podium that he's been waiting for? And Blizzard, of course, he's one to watch. The most decorated driver in TTL history. Fighting with Lambo. Watch those two going into turn 1. Will they give each other the room? We'll have to wait and see. TTL brought to you by weakwifi-solutions.com and also by failgrips.com. Use TTL F1 at the checkout for a 10% discount off your order. Meanwhile, it is the Hungarian Grand Prix and it's getting started very shortly. 5 red lights. Round 12 is underway, and what are the starts like? Well, Onyx has got a drive-through penalty for jumping the start. Meanwhile, then, they're going to try and go 3 and 4 wide, as that's the Clifford in the background there, losing the car. Here comes, that's Blizzard, down the inside, but he doesn't leave Lambo much room, and that allows Squeezy to take the lead of the race. As Blizzard now trying to find a way through, but Squeezy doesn't give him any as they now head towards turn 2. Blizzard tries to launch it up the inside, and he just about makes the move stick then as they fly through turn 4. Blizzard leads the way. That's Squeezy in 2nd. Lambo's up to P3 there. Jay down to P4 as Lighty holds position in P5. Hamilton in 6th as TTGaming gets away past. And Hamilton falling to P7 right now. Onyx with that jump start. He's got a drive-through penalty. Oh, he makes contact. He makes contact with Hamilton as they exit turn 5 there. And Damien's gone straight into the back of them. Well, the game has given Hamilton a 5-second stop go. I think that was very harsh from the game there. And a safety car has been deployed. Safety car deployed. So, after that manic start, Squeezy takes the lead of the race. Blizzard 2nd, Lambo 3rd, Jay in 4th, Lighty in 5th, Technique in 6th, Sean is 7th, with Steph in 8th, Maze 9th, and Ollie is in 10th. That's your podium, top 10 so far. Poe is up to 11th, by the way. Fantastic start from him. Basically avoided all that carnage and finds him just outside of the points. Got reports from Onyx that rain will be in about 10 or 15 minutes time. Is Z3 tempting to come into the pits? He is! He is coming into the pits. And Steph has got a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. Well, Steph is in as well. He's going to change his front wing and on go a set of soft tyres. Meanwhile, Z3, is he going to do the same? Clifford, 5-second time penalty. Yep, Z3 is in for a front wing change. So these guys are all changing a wing, and look how many cars are in the pits. Well, the safety car means that Hamilton, as frustrated as he may be, is not out of this race just yet. As Clifford is also in the pit, so they have to stack as well. But there it is, the safety car is out. For only the second time this season, the safety car has been deployed. But Squeezy there will find himself a little bit relieved that he chose the soft tyres, because he finds himself jumping Blizzard from the start. He had a fantastic start. A little bit argy-bargy for the first couple of corners. But Squeezy finds himself in the lead with Blizzard second and Lambo in third. Oh, that's the Renault there going very wild there. And just keeping it under control. Jay finds himself in P4. Lighty fifth there. Watch out for him when we get back underway. Mays there in 8th. This is the perfect time to see what the positions were like. Well, Squeezy there gained 3 positions off the start. Mays jumped 6 positions. He had a fantastic start. He finds himself in 8th place. Meanwhile, Poe there, as you see, jumps 9 positions up at Plaster. Big shout out to him. He's up 4 positions, up to P12. And Z3, even after his trip to the pits, is still up 4 positions. Hamilton will have a lot to prove, though, as he's on the soft tyres. So it looks like if he does make it, it's going to be soft. That's the strategy he would go for. However, rain is on the way, apparently, according to sources. Lap 3 of this Grand Prix. And of course we are still under the safety cars. E3 and Onyx are pitting in again. And is this to serve some sort of penalty? Well, they're in again. No. Oh, I see what Z3's done there. Oh, that's very clever. Well, Z3, what he's done there is gone from the medium tyres, pitted in under the safety car to put on a set of soft tyres, which means he's used both dry compounds, and then pits in again to go onto a set of mediums. Now, is he going to try and make those tyres last to the end of the race? Now, if he does that, that would be some feat. That's going to be very, very difficult to do. However, that's the strategy he's gone for. So, now technically Z3 has used both sets of dry tyres that he needs to use. And can he make those medium tyres last to the end of the race, especially with rain on the way? Well, we'll see very shortly. If the safety car is due in, you'll be able to tell because the safety car lights will just turn off. Meanwhile, Technique, 6th place at the moment, up 3 positions from his starting place. And obviously still under safety car conditions. Safety car is in this lap, so the lights are off. Tension here, so Squeezy will lead them round. So Hamilton up to 16th with Z3 and Onyx pitting twice under the safety car. Squeezy there, you can see the safety car is still out, so he can't quite go just yet. He has to wait until the safety car is into the pit lane and into crossing the line. So there goes the safety car in the pits, and as you can see, we're all eager to go here. Squeezy's gone for it now, round the outside. DRS enabled now, which is very rare to see. DRS being enabled straight away. However, Squeezy's got it. Blizzard then got a little bit napping there. We've got the Red Bull there of Technique, who went extremely wide there to not entirely sure. Steph has come into the pits once again. Lighty though, here comes a battle now, reliving season 10, Blizzard and Lambo, as this is Lambo trying to go around the outside, going into turn 2. Can he make it stick? It'll become the inside line for the next corner. Can he stick it there and make a little bit of contact there as they come up the hill now towards turn 5? Sorry, turn 4, as Blizzard holds position, but Jay is right behind them and could pounce at any time. They can't let that happen though, as Lambo looks to try and get past. And meanwhile then, we'll see on board with Technique. Lighty has dropped down to P6 as Technique finds a way past. Sean is in P7 though, and right behind him is Maze. We look at the intervals between each driver, and you can see that Jay is right on Lambo's tail, ready to take advantage if things go his way. Clifford, meanwhile, is going to try and find a way past Blaster, is he? Coming down towards turn 12. Is he going to try and launch it up the inside? He's got to be careful with his teammate behind him. That's Hamilton. And Onyx here is making a move as he goes around the outside of George Roberts. And up the hill they go towards turn 15. So Hamilton runs a little bit wide then. And is that a chance for Onyx here to try and get some DRS? And well, DRS, it said, was enabled. However, I don't see anyone using it just yet. But Hamilton runs very deep into turn 1. And he's lost the position to Onyx. Well then, Hamilton maybe just caught a little bit off guard. He runs too deep and loses that position. Meanwhile then, Lighty trying to chase down Technique Gaming as Clifford is into the pits. Well then, 5 laps in. Squeezy leads the way from Blizzard, Lambo, Jay, Technique, Lighty, Sean, Maze, Ollie and Poe. That's your top 10 so far. And riding on board with Lighty then, as he looks to try and make some positions. Technique is right behind Jay. As we, Lighty put a wheel onto the grass there and has to go very wide. And that could open up an opportunity for Sean as Clifford retires from the session in the pit lane. And Lighty there, well, very lucky that that mistake didn't involve anything else. Onyx and Plaster, meanwhile, we're heading now down towards turn 13. That is Hamilton right behind them both in 14th place. As Squeezy, of course, sets the fastest lap of the race on those soft tyres. As they now round the final corner. Now DRS is enabled again. Fair enough. And Onyx has been disqualified for ignoring that drive-through he got at the start. Oh, unbelievable. He forgot about his drive-through and has been disqualified from the session. And adding to that, I just saw some rainfall. Well, well, well. Here comes the rain. Those that chose the soft tyres may be at an advantage here, but they have to push now if they're going to make this tyre work. So Hamilton then was behind Onyx before he was disqualified. Now he's right on the tail of Plaster, looking to try and find a way past. Now will Plaster make life easy or difficult? As we've got yellow flags in sector 1. That's Z3 who's gone around, and I'll bet you he's just clipped the curb on the inside of turn 5 and spun himself around. Well, let's have a look at some of these battles up and down the field then. As you'll see, Hamilton trying to chase down Plaster here. We've also got Ollie trying to chase down Maze, who's chasing down Sean. But Ollie's being caught by Poe and Spike. And Spike finds himself outside of the points right now. As Blizzard sets the fastest lap of the race. He's on a charge now. Here comes Ollie, trying to go down the inside of Maze as we head towards turn 1. A lot of respect between these two. Will they show each other that respect out on track? I think they will for now. DRS open for Ollie then as they go very, very close as they head down the hill towards turn 2. Trying to go around the outside is Ollie. Can he make that move stick? Looks like he lost the car a little bit. We head up the inside of turn 3. Oh, that's a weird tyre. Locking into the front tyre. And Ollie's into the wall. That's a little bit of front wing gone. And that might be enough there to, yeah, it's going to force him into the pits. He's got no downforce now on the front end. Will he try and keep the car out just until it rains enough? Well, the rain isn't really falling right now. So Ollie's just going to have to try and push hard or come into the pits. And he's around again. He's gone onto that gravel. He spins the car around, Sebastian Vettel-esque. And he's having a real tough time right now. Looks to try and rejoin onto the track and just can't keep the wheels from spinning. And there's the rain. It is starting to fall now. So is it worth Ollie just trying to stay out right now? Because he might lose more time trying to pit in. As Ollie has retired from the session. Well, the rain's starting to fall then. Those on the soft tyres have to push now. Whilst the track is still dry. Here comes Poe then. Trying to go down the inside of Maze to try and get some championship points. And he's up into P8. And I don't think Maze made it too difficult for Poe. Poe now finds himself up into P8. His next target is Sean. So then, we haven't seen Squeezy yet.
As we head on to lap 8, he still leads the race. So, here's an interesting battle that's going on then. We've got Poe, Mays and Spike with Hamilton closing in. Hamilton's got away past Plaster there. And now he's up into P11. And as we see there, that is Sean there closing in on it. Excuse the voice break. I think I'm doing pretty well with the cold right now. They are closing in on Sean, and as you can see, the rain is only going to get heavier. As that's George Roberts, is it? Round again? Yes, he is. And has he caught that curb there? Is that curb just slightly too damp for those slick tyres? As you'll see cars in a minute really struggle for grip. That was Spike there locking up in those conditions. Braking starts to get harder. The turning points start to get harder. Braking points increase, or braking distance I should say, increase. Braking points change in these changeable conditions. But Spike though will want to try and find a way past Mays. DRS is still active, so the game thinks the dry tyres are still good enough. Here comes Spike then down the inside of Mays. As Spike locks up going into turn 1, but he's got the move done. And he moves now up into P9. And George Roberts is out of the Hungarian Grand Prix. And we won't be able to see how that happened, but he is out of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Meanwhile, here's Technique trying to find a way past Jay. He loses that back end very slightly. Very scary moment there. And who's that's off? That's Z3 is off at turn 1. May's still trying to put some pressure on Spike here. So Squeezy still leading the way, and that is Sean. What's happened to Sean here? He must have had an off-track excursion because he's off down to P10 right now under pressure from Hamilton. As now we fly through turn 11, now down the hill towards turn 12. This could be a move for Hamilton. He sees the opportunity, tries to go down the inside. Does he? No, backs out of it. Backs out of it, didn't think he would make that move work. And now we come towards turn 13. So who will blink first of going into the pits? Meanwhile, Technique here having a battle with Jay as they head towards turn 1. Jay has the inside line, Technique the outside. And will Jay give him the room there? Well, there wasn't really much room for Technique to go anyway. He's still trying to make the move work, but not quite. And into turn 2 here. Jay still has the upper hand and holds position. In these increasingly difficult conditions. When is the changeover point? Lambo picks himself up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Lighty, meanwhile, is catching this pack. As you see there, that's Blizzard and Lambo getting away. Jay in 4th, Technique 5th. There's Lighty in 6th. That's your battle at the moment for 4th place. As that is Technique there, really just trying to put some pressure on the Renault. And as he tries to find that way past, has got to remember that he's got to keep it on the track himself. So when you see that DRS being disabled, that's the time, that's the changeover point. Or, well, a definite changeover point, that's for sure. Hamilton, meanwhile, still trying to find a way past Sean again. Can't quite make the move stick. Overtaking is tricky around here. And we've got cars into the pits. Then Lambo's in. And who else is in? Jay and Lighty are in. Does Poe come in? No, he doesn't. Spike stays out as well as Mays and Sean and Hamilton. So what tyres will they go on to then? Lambo in from 2nd place. And he puts on intermediates. He thinks it's time. Away he goes. And what's the other thing then? Here comes, that's Sean, is it? Yes, it is. Down the inside of Mays, made that mistake. And, oh, you can see now how treacherous these conditions are. Into turn 1. And, well, Sean has made the move on Mays. Fantastic move going into turn 1 then. Now, let's see what Lambo does to lead the charge then. He thinks it's time. And we've got Hamilton and Mays here battling away as we head up the hill now towards turn 4. And you can see there's less and less grip out there as each lap passes. Keep an eye on that gap between Hamilton and Lambo as it's 4 seconds right now. 3.8. I think the changeover point, I think Lambo, Jay, Lighty, Steph and Plaster have all got it right. The changeover point was when they pitted in. That's a great call from all of them. So this will help Lambo to no end now, as he looks to try. Yeah, there it is, DRS disabled. So the changeover point is now. But how will that affect Squeezy then? And Blizzard. Technique coming in as well. Post surely has to come in. He has to react to the cars ahead, and he does. Spike as well. What about Sean? Sean thinks about it and then pits in. Hamilton leaving it very late there to make the call to come in. And there goes Lambo to take the lead of the race. Now where is Squeezy? He's just leaving the pits now. So where is Lambo? He's coming down the main straight. So this is going to be close between the two of them. There goes Squeezy leaving the pit lane. There's Blizzard. There's Lambo. And has Lambo jumped Blizzard? No, he hasn't. And on the exit of turn 1, they are still right behind each other. He's closer than he was before. And now he has a chance to try and make the move. So Squeezy still leads here in Hungary. Pitted from the lead, rejoins in the lead. Lighty and Technique, by the way, having a good battle now as Technique slightly loses that back in there. That might be a little bit of lag involved. As that is Z3 picking up a 5-second stop go for speeding in the pit lane. Very easy to do when it's a wet track and you're on slick tyres. You just completely miss your braking point. So there's Squeezy going through, there's Blizzard, and then there's Lambo. That's your top 3 right now. That's Jay in 4th going through the picture as we cut away. And we'll ride on board with the closest battle on the track. And it's between Technique and Lighty. And as you can see, as we now head through turn 9, right on the gearbox there, as we now going to fly through turn 10. And then through turn 11, these two are really battling hard now. We've got yellow flags in sectors 2 and 3. A green flag there. So who could that have been? I'm not entirely sure. We're going to stick with this battle though. As Jay here. What's happened to Jay? I think he's okay, is he? Yeah, he is. Just trying to cope with these conditions. Meanwhile then Squeezy and Blizzard battling for the lead now as we head down towards turn 1. No DRS here. And Blizzard, is he going to try and force a move up the inside? No, he doesn't, but sticks right on Squeezy's gearbox there, giving him no chance, putting him under all the pressure here as Lambo is starting to fall back a little bit. Maybe that's a little bit of dirty air issue. Lighty, meanwhile, still trying to battle away with Technique Gaming. And these two have been battling for quite some time now. I would say this is the point where drivers would settle down into the race, but that's far from the truth. As Squeezy here is trying to defend from Blizzard. Blizzard tried to move around the outside, didn't quite work, but you can see him here. His racecraft is to try and see if he can put a mistake into Squeezy. The thing is, Blizzard, we've seen it in the past. He is over-ambitious. If he sees just a slight bit of a gap, he's going to go for it. His impatience has cost him before. Has he learned from his mistakes? Can he keep that patience, keep his head down? Meanwhile, then Lighty has dropped away from Technique so slightly that the gap is now a little bit just under 1 second. There is Blizzard, still right on the gearbox of Squeezy. And as we head around the final corner, can Blizzard try and set himself up? As you can see, he goes up a gear to try and minimise that wheel spin, and it looks like it's going to work here. Blizzard right on the tail of Squeezy. It's the battle of the drag here. Who has less of it? As we head down towards turn 1. And it looks like Squeezy just about holding on. Has to give Blizzard that room then around the outside as they head down towards turn 2. Blizzard trying to go up the inside here into turn 2. Has he got the move done? We'll have to wait for the camera to come around. And yes, he has. Blizzard takes the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix. I tell you what, this overtaking malarkey is going to kill my voice. However, Blizzard has taken the lead ahead of Squeezy now, and Lambo could try and extend his lead in the championship. And Blizzard here looking like he backed out of that one, allowing Squeezy to try and find a way through. Not quite though, and Blizzard here keeps a hold of the lead. But look at this 3-car battle for the lead of the race here. And Blizzard loses that back end very slightly. Here comes Squeezy then down the inside. That's Lambo trying to take to the grass. Squeezy up the inside of turn 12. And will they lock wheels? Will this allow Lambo to try and have a route back into this race, into the lead? Blizzard just about holding on for now. Squeezy trying to go around the outside. It will become the inside for the next corner. And does he try it? Yes, he does. Still side by side as they exit the corner. And as Squeezy tries to take the racing line there. He takes the lead back. And Blizzard here, right in the slipstream, trying to go around the outside this time. Heading down. Are they going to try and make it 3 wide into turn 1? Squeezy there, just about holding on here. And look at this now. He's going to try and take his line there. Blizzard desperate to try and find some track there as he loses the back end. He's into the wall. Blizzard's out. Blizzard is out of the race. Well, goodness me, I'm not entirely sure what happened there, but he hit his rear tyre against the wall, and Blizzard is out of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Battling hard with Squeezy there. As they're heading around, well, Lambo has one less competitor to deal with now. It will mean if he can get past Squeezy, 2 wins on the bounce, but first he has to try and get past him. Hamilton, meanwhile, that will promote him back into the points. That's the sort of thing he needed as he chases down Mays for 9th place. And that puts Jay up onto the podium right now. Technique right behind. As you see there, that's Lighty there in 5th place. Poe is in 6th at the moment. Remember, he started from P19, always Lighty. Runs a little bit wide. That's going to invite Poe to try and have another go here. 21 laps, which is going to end first. The race on my voice. I can really feel it going. However, I'm going to try and stick it out. Lighty here, still trying to... Oh, Lighty's run very wide there. And this could be a chance here for Poe. Into the slipstream he goes, towards turn 1. Try and dummy. Yes, he will. Dummy to the inside to go round the outside. And Lighty there. Oh, a little bit of contact there, and Poe is around. Well, I'm not entirely sure what happened there. But Poe found himself spinning around. Well, make of that what you will. Poe finds himself now down into P7. Let's have a look at Mays then. Because he's been passed by Hamilton off camera. Probably because I was coughing off camera. Anyway, Hamilton moves up into P9 then. His next target is Sean, 5.4 seconds up the road. Technique here is now half a second back from Jay here. And Jay, who last time out got issued with a lag warning from the German Grand Prix. His internet connection seems a lot better now as he looks to try and hold off from 3rd place. Now the interesting part is, will these intermediates last to the end of the race? I don't think they will. If we were talking about the wet tyres from that point, sure. However, I think people will need to make one more stop. And that's for another set of intermediate tyres unless the rain dies down. So interesting then, as we head towards the halfway point of this race. Squeezy leads the way from Lambo and Jay. That's your podium so far. Then after them it's Technique in 4th, Lighty 5th, Spike is in 6th, Poe in 7th, Sean in 8th, Hamilton is in 9th place, Mays is in 10th, Steph in 11th, Plaster 12th, and the Z3 in 13th place. Well, Spike here is struggling. He's down in P6 right now. Didn't have the greatest qualifying, and right now he's having a pretty quiet race. Still half of it to go though. Meanwhile, Lambo is starting to close in on Squeezy again. Behind them, a great battle is developing between Jay and Technique here. We know what Technique's style of driving is. It is aggressive, but we don't know what Jay's style of defending is. So how will this end, I wonder? Battle for the last place on the podium. As Squeezy any moment now will cross the line to start the 18th lap of this Grand Prix. Any minute now. There it is. 17 laps to go in the Hungarian Grand Prix. Technique then right in the slipstream. As we now head towards turn 1. And right now, Technique just sticking behind for now. Lambo is looking to try and close in on Squeezy, and he's doing that right now. Half a second the gap between those two. And I am wondering if these intermediates will last to the end of the race. I had a hunch about Poe's tyre choice in the last race. I'm having a hunch here that these intermediates won't make it to the end of the race. They might have to pit again for another set of intermediate tyres. But meanwhile though, Squeezy leads the way from Lambo. And that is Technique trying to chase down Jay here for the last podium place. Poe, meanwhile, is catching up to a championship rival. He's catching up to Spike here. 1.6 seconds is the gap as he gets his way through 6 and 7. Then towards turn 8 and then through turn 9. That's Z3 who's out of the session. Z3 out of the race. Unfortunately, we can't go on board with him. But he has retired from this race. We're now down to 12 runners in this one. So Squeezy there, trying to nail each corner now as he makes his way down the long start finish straight. There's the green flag, so whatever happened was back there. And meanwhile, Jay trying to defend from Technique. There's two battles to keep our eye on. Well, developing into 3 as Poe is catching Spike here. As we make our way down towards turn 1. But Squeezy here still leads the way. From Lambo in second. Lovely shot of the front wing here as we head up the hill towards turn 4. Chuck the car in and hope it sticks. Lambo meanwhile will be hoping to try and take this win away from Squeezy. Squeezy has only had 1 win this season. He'll want to make it 2. And like I said before, the only race winner we had that was not someone contending in the top 4 was Blizzard. And he's out of the race. Technique here, trying to fly his way through turns 8 and 9. Then he'll fly through turn 10 again. He's been looking at this rear wing of the Renault for quite some time now. I'm pretty sure he's bored of it now. He's waiting for that J mistake here, and he's right on his front rear wing. Here he comes down the inside of turn 12. Does he? No, he doesn't. But maybe he's trying to lull J into a mistake here, and it just might work as he's trying to go now up the inside of turn 13. That's a little bit close for comfort there as he comes around the turn 14 now, looking to prioritise his exit again, shifting up to try and minimise that wheel spin as much as possible. Chuck it up into rich revs as you can see there, and he's now trying to chase Jay down this long straight, and he goes for it, goes for the move down the inside, touches wheels. Oh, that was always a risky move there, and Technique couldn't quite pull that off. Meanwhile then, Spike is catching up to Light E, and Poe is catching up to Spike. This could be a 3-way battle for P5. Behind them, Sean is being caught by Hamilton. 1.4 is the gap currently. We've also got Mays in 10th place there. Steph in 11th. Plaster in 12th. 16 laps to go. I got the lap counter wrong, so now it is 16 laps to go. 15 and a half if you're a bit pinicky. As we now head down towards turn 12 with Squeezy. Lambo still chasing him, as I believe the rain is starting to clear up. Is that the case? I wonder. It looks a lot lighter than it was before. Here comes Technique though, down the inside of Jay. Does he try and make this one work into turn 12? Having a look on board then, as now we head towards turn 13 once again. He's just trying to lull Jay into a mistake here. Not trying to go down the inside too much. He's trying to engineer a move rather than force one. But we'll see down the main straight here how much his patience will hold as he goes into the slipstream now. Down this long straight, you can see the sun trying to poke through the clouds, and the rain has stopped, by the way. Rain has stopped. So, well, how long will it be now till dry tyres? And what tyres will the drivers choose? And when will they choose it? A hectic race. That rain has thrown everything into the mix, and Spike almost losing that back end there on the exit of turn 2 as we head towards turn 3. He's trying to find a way past Lighty at the moment. And We're now trying to see what Spike can do. Meanwhile, there's Squeezy and Lambo. And you can see the track is drying. And it's drying quite quickly as well. You can already see a little bit of a dry line forming. As Squeezy here looking to try and just keep away from Lambo as much as possible. 7/10 is the gap right now. And you can see on board with Lambo, that sun is shining through. Lambo got the decision right last time out. He gained some time on Blizzard when they stopped for the wet tyres last time out. They both decide to stay out. I kind of agree. It's a little bit too wet there. If you can still see the spray coming off the tyres, that's a sure sign it's not time yet. But here we go then. Down this long straight. Could this be the moment for Lambo? He's closing on Squeezy. Looking for that move, but not quite yet. As we head into turn 1. Lighty is pitted in, by the way, from 5th place. And this could be him going on to a set of dry tyres, is it? I'll have to wait and see what that indicator flicks to. Sean pits in as well. So what are they going on to? They're going on to dry tyres. Lighty on the mediums there. They'll try and get him to the end of the race. I wonder if that's too early or if they got it just right. I wonder. We'll have to wait and see. And meanwhile then, Lambo and Squeezy really battling for position here. Lambo is just sticking to his guns right now. Maybe trying to go up the inside just for a little look up. Just try and put Squeezy under a bit of pressure here as the camera angles aren't brilliant. As yellow flags in sector 1. And that might be Lighty or Sean there. Spinning from the dry tyres. As Plaster is in as well. But Lambo here really putting Squeezy under pressure. You can see Lambo is quicker than Squeezy. But he just can't seem to find that way past. As we head towards turn 13. He's got all that speed, Lambo, but no real way to use it. Who comes in? Neither of them do. Trying to dummy each other then. Kind of compromising their entry, both of them, into the last corner. As we come down this long start-finish straight once again, this could be the moment for Lambo then. In the slipstream he goes. Squeezy goes defensive, down the inside. Lambo's going to try and go round the outside then. Into turn 1. And they're going to be side by side. I don't know, Squeezy gets the better traction there. And as you can see, Lambo was wheel spinning all the way through. He's going to try round the outside of turn 2, is he? Tries to stick the car there, but no, the door was always closing as they fly through turn 3 now. Good battling between these two, giving each other space out there, even if it's just millimetres of it. Heading through turn 4, now up the hill through turn 5. As we've got the Ferrari there, I believe, of Plaster on the dry tyres. And it is, and that's Lambo trying to go up the inside of turn 5. Never going to happen there. Had to ride the curb massively there. And he's lucky to get away with maybe only a warning, but definitely not a penalty. But here we go then with Lambo. Still sticking with him for now. Just keeping an eye on that battle between Jay and Technique. As Lambo here still trying to engineer that move. As we head now down the hill towards turn 13. Again, you can see Lambo thinking about it. And the track looks pretty dry to me. And is this Lambo coming? Oh, Squeezy trying to dummy as well. They're both trying to dummy each other. And it will take for a driver behind to pit in and get the both of them. Meanwhile, though, they're still going to battle on these intermediate tyres. Technique is in. And Lambo here, is he going to try and move down the inside? He picks that inside line to break down. And as you can see, Squeezy there just gets that better traction. He's on lap younger tyres than Lambo. And this might be ever important today. Here comes Lambo trying to go down the inside of turn 2. As they make contact, Lambo has to back out of the move. He came from a long way back there. And I don't think that was ever going to work. 12 laps to go in this one. As you can see, Technique rejoins on a set of soft tyres. So he thinks it's time. As we now head up the hill through turn 5. And these two are going to fight pretty much to the race end. You could even say there'll be a battle of the pit stops. Which crew is quicker? Yellow flags in sector 1. And at the moment we're looking at Lambo still trying to close in on Squeezy. Another battle that's developing is between two championship rivals, Spike and Poe. Who will win that one? We've got to keep a close eye on both of those battles as Squeezy finds 4/10. and just extends that gap between himself and Lambo. Sean, meanwhile, is closing in, is he, on Lighty? Have we keep an eye on that board? Yes, he is. He's passed him. So what's Sean there? That's Lambo. Lambo's in. So he's left Squeezy out there. So now, what tyres does he go on to? He surely has to go on to the soft tyres, does Lambo, as he pits in from second place. So Squeezy is out there, all on his own. Spike, meanwhile, and Poe battling for position there. They both stay out on a set of intermediate tyres. And Spike and Poe here, they get a little bit of contact there as they start to lose the tread on those tyres. There is Lambo. He'll rejoin behind them. And here comes Poe. Is he going to try down the inside? He did try. He did think about it, but not quite. Plaster getting well out of the way there. And we'll be able to see what the tyre difference is as Lambo pits in from second place. He rejoins in 5th place on a set of soft tyres. Meanwhile, that battle for 3rd place is still going on as they come down the hill, then up it through turn 5. And they both hit that curve there. Here comes Poe. Does he try down the inside? He thought about it, but not quite. And Spike now coming up the hill towards 5 and 6. And you can see Poe putting Spike under an immense amount of pressure. Lambo here is at 3.1 behind Poe here. And it seems like... Oh, he is closing. So Hamilton is in. He was on a set of Ultra Softs. That might change very soon. Poe, meanwhile, still trying to close in on Spike. Squeezy is into the pits. So he pits from the lead of the race then. There he goes. So what tyres does he put on? Jay is in as well. So surely Spike and Poe must come in. Surely they can't last 10 more laps on those. No, they can't. But Poe thinks he can. He'll stay out. Oh, of course, because his teammate's in, so he has to stay out. So Spike then comes into the pits then. And Lambo here, what can happen between him and Squeezy? And look at that. Squeezy's come out miles ahead. Meanwhile then, Poe is trying to go around the outside of Squeezy there. And they lock tyres. DRS is enabled. And look how much time Squeezy gained by staying out. That is 3 seconds almost. That is incredible. Meanwhile, Poe is not making life easy for Squeezy at all here. As Squeezy here goes onto the soft tyres, and it looks like he's won that battle there. But Poe, meanwhile, putting up a valiant effort against Squeezy here on the intermediate tyres. I'll give him credit. He's putting this in. Technique, meanwhile, under pressure from Spike as they go through turn 2, then through turn 3. So many battles to keep my eye on. It's impossible to keep up with all of them. Poe is just doing a superb job right now on those intermediate tyres, keeping up with Squeezy. He's surely got to pit in now, though. Otherwise, he'll start to lose time. Spike then still on the back of Technique then as we head towards turn 5. And then through turn 6 in that chicane. Spike is one of those drivers who will go for a gap, but is willing to wait for it, wait for the right opportunity. That can sometimes hinder him, but here comes Poe then, and he finally comes into the pits. Obviously had to stay out because his teammate Jay pitted in, and he didn't want to double stack. So Poe comes in then, and what tyres will he choose then? He has 8 laps to do. I wonder if he's going to pit onto a set of Ultra Softs here. But it is soft tyres going on for Poe then, so he's not taking any risks. And where will he rejoin then? There's Spike, so there is who he wants to be battling. But Technique here has been doing a good job. There goes Poe then. Has he jumped? Spike and Technique. Yes, he has. He's up into P4 now. Spike trying to go around the outside there. Technique not leaving a door open for Spike then. And Spike just couldn't find that way past. The door had slammed shut in his face. And look at that, Spike trying to get some temperature into the tyres. That track must be cold then. We're going to jump on board for the battle for the lead then, because Lambo has closed up magnificently to Squeezy here. And you can see that maybe Lambo had a dry setup in qualifying and was still able to put that lap in. But he's got to try and find a way past Squeezy. He will have DRS to assist him as we go down the hill towards turn 12. Lap 27, which will soon become 28 as Hamilton moves up into the points off screen. Really sorry I can't keep up with all of the battles. But as we head round the final corner then, Squeezy has got to keep that car in check, and he does. But Lambo now has DRS. In the slipstream with DRS, with that ERS up to full, rich mix. Will he try and find a way past? No, he won't. He thought about it though. Just trying to fill that McLaren's mirrors with a bit of Toro Rosso blue. But he couldn't quite make it stick there. And you could hear there Lambo getting a massive amount of wheel spin, even past the exit of the corner. So he's really trying to push that car as much as he can. Jay, meanwhile, is in third place right now. He's having a fantastic race right now. He may be 5.4 seconds down on Squeezy and Lambo, but Squeezy and Lambo are trying to battle for position in the championship. Squeezy needs this win to help him along in the championship. Meanwhile, Spike is down in 6th place, so this is going to hurt him the most. Now, of course, after round 11, as I try and get up the standing, so Lambo was on 160. If it finishes like this, he'll be on 178. Poe would be on 181. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong position there. Squeezy would be on 158, if my maths is right, which it never is. So 158 for Squeezy after this race, if it finishes like this. Spike will be suffering a couple of points positions, but Squeezy would put himself right back into that top 4, top 3 challenging if he can pull himself back up with a win. Lambo would extend his lead in the championship by 6 points. So it would become a 10-point lead over Poe at the moment. But of course we have 7 laps to go. Let's have a look at Spike and Technique for a bit. And you can see there Spike is throwing everything at it now to try and catch Technique. He must have been told qualifying laps over the radio, and that's exactly what he's trying to do as he looks to try and close that gap in on Technique. 0.8 of a second right now. We jump on board with this battle for the lead then. Squeezy and Lambo as we head now down towards turn 12. And Lambo here hasn't been able to take advantage of the DRS. He hasn't been quite close enough. Not getting the exit absolutely spot on as he looks to try and go down the inside of turn 13. Really thought about it there. As we head towards turn 14 now. Through that right-hander. And who will get the better exit then? You can see there that Squeezy does get that slightly better exit, but this could be the beginning of the end for Squeezy's defence then. He moves to the inside line, or the racing line I should say, as Lambo tries to go up the inside. Nothing doing though, as Squeezy holds on to the position as we head now down towards turn 2. Now for anybody wondering about that move, he made one move and then back onto the racing line. According to the guidelines, that should be a fair legal defensive move. It is always highly contested and discussed about how much you can defend the position, but Squeezy holds on to the lead for now. 6 laps to go, and for Squeezy these will be the longest 6 laps of his career, that's for sure. But can he hold on to take his 2nd win of the season, or will Lambo make it 2 on the trot and really put himself in the driving seat of this World Championship? Down towards turn 12 once again. This is the closest battle on the circuit, and it is the battle for the lead. You can see there Jay is actually closing in on this battle. If he plays his cards right, he might be in with a shout here. If it all goes wrong, if it all ends in tears, don't rule Jay out just yet. Here we go then. Lambo has been really close. He's got that exit absolutely right. This could be the move. 5 laps to go in this Hungarian Grand Prix as Lambo will try and go round the outside. Squeezy's going to try and shut the door on the exit, and he does. Lambo off track there. Has to try and find another way through. He's going to try around the outside into turn 2. He tries to go around the outside. Has he made it stick? No, he hasn't. Couldn't quite have the grip there as we now head through turn 3. Hard battling going on for this lead of the race. And Lambo just simply has to try and find another way past as now we head towards the chicane of turns 5 and 6. Meanwhile, Spike here trying to make a move on technique. Will he try and force a move? Or just try and engineer one? He must be getting frustrated behind that Red Bull. Here he goes now, trying to go around the outside. No, he backed out of it. A wise decision there. But technique might have run too deep into turn 4 there. Meanwhile, here comes Lambo, trying to go down the inside of Squeezy. As Squeezy desperately tries to defend this position. Now heading through into turn 13. Up the hill towards turn 14. Squeezy will cross the line with 4 laps to go. In the lead of the race. But it looks like he's fighting a losing battle right here. Lambo right in the slipstream right now. He's trying to do round the inside. And that had essence of Schumacher and Barrichello about it. However, Squeezy holds on to the lead, does he? Yes, he does. What's happened to Lambo? He's onto the grass. He's onto the grass and finds himself down. And has he lost a bit of front wing, I wonder? I don't think he has. He's still pushing on. 4 laps to go in this one. And this battling could end in tears. Jay is now 3.1 seconds behind Lambo right now. And Lambo here runs a little bit wide on the exit of turn 5 as he looks to try and just attack these curves now. Look at that. He just attacked them with no remorse for his suspension. 1.3 seconds the gap now. As Squeezy is trying to defend for his life. You can see Spike there trying to go for technique here. Hamilton we haven't seen a lot of. He was on some ultra soft tyres. He has set the fastest lap of the race. As Steph pits in. He's trying to do a Fernando Alonso here. He doesn't think he can get any points, so he wants that fastest lap. Hamilton then coming towards turn 2, sorry. As now he heads towards turn 3. Now, he's been on those tyres for 7 laps now. They would be coming to the end of their life. But can he make one last move on Lighty for 9th place? We have 3 laps to go. Poe now sets the fast lap of the race. 118.9 as he looks to try and extend his lead on technique and close it on Jay. He's 9.6 seconds behind his teammate. I don't think on that, even on that pace, that's going to be enough. As Squeezy here, still trying to defend for his life. Here comes Hamilton. Is he going to try around the outside into turn 12? He thought about it, but Lighty holds on for now. As we head towards turn 13, Lighty running a little bit deep. Here comes Hamilton, wanting to take that position away. We've got to keep jumping on and off board with certain battles here. As Squeezy flying through turn 11, down the hill towards turn 12. As Lambo gets himself a 3-second time penalty. That might be costly for him. Well, you can see now coming through turn 13, Lambo now will know he's got to get on with it. If worse comes to worse, he's got to try and find 6 seconds between himself and Squeezy. Squeezy comes around the final corner. 2 laps to go as Lambo in response sets the fastest lap of the race. Here he goes down the inside with the DRS. Gets the move done before the corner braking point, and Lambo at long last takes the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix. It took so much battling and it might have taken so much out of his tyres, but the Toro Rosso driver finds himself in the lead of the race with 2 laps to go. Hamilton still 4/10 down. He's really trying to find that way past Lighty. He can't quite do it right now. And on ultra soft tyres that are starting to fade away, he is really trying to make the most of them. As you can see there, Squeezy is starting to fall back. Well, in terms of championship, Poe is finding himself in P4. Spike there in P6. He flies through. Squeezy and Lambo first and second right now. Sean there, 8th place right now with 2 laps to go. And Steph here turns up that engine, turns up that ERS to try and get fastest lap of the race. Spike here, Plaster here. I saw Spike getting a time penalty. Plaster 12th place right now as Lambo sets again another fastest lap. He's just unleashing the power and the pace that he had locked away behind Squeezy as Steph there sets the fastest lap of the race, 1:17.7. Well, tough for Lambo. He did turn 7, as now he'll fly through turns 8 and 9. He was setting fast as that with a race on soft tyres, 10 lap old soft tyres, which is absolutely incredible. It just shows how much pace he did have and how well Squeezy did to try and hold him back. But hard Squeezy defended. It wasn't quite enough. Here comes Lambo then around that final corner. Start finish line. He